Today's story is $1.11. $1.11. $1.11. 111. Okay. This is an American story. A long time ago, well, I don't know how long ago, let's say it was 200 years ago in America, there was a little girl and her name was Tess. So there was a little girl and her name was Tess. And she was only 8 years old. Tess had a younger brother, and it's a boy. Younger brother, and I don't know how old he was, but it was a younger brother. And his name was Andrew. Andrew was his name. Well, Tess and Andrew lived in a house with their mother and father. Mother and father. Mother and father. Mother and father were not very happy. They were very sad because Andrew was sick. Andrew was sick, but father did not have the money to pay for his treatment, medical treatment. He was really sick. There was something bad growing in his head, and so he needed to have an operation. He needed to go to a hospital, and he needs to have a surgery. But surgery. So I think just a second. Surgery. Okay. Surgery is operation. It's like the doctor cut you up, and they do something inside your body, and sew your body, sew it up, and then that's operation. Okay. But anyway, father was very, very poor, so he could not pay for his surgery, operation. They had so little money. They were going to leave the house. They couldn't pay for the house either, so they were going to move into a small apartment, and they didn't have enough money to pay for his illness. They were very, very sad because without the surgery, without the operation, the little boy would die. He would die if he didn't get the operation. So the mother was very, very sad, and father was very sad. Okay. They said only a miracle can help him. Miracle. Okay, miracle. Only a miracle can help him. Miracle. Or okay, so only a miracle can help him. Now, miracle is something impossible, if you could fly, it's a miracle. We humans cannot fly like a bird. We can't walk on the water. We cannot, if we did, that's a miracle. Yeah? And so they said they needed a miracle. They needed a miracle to save the boy, they said. Now, Tess, the girl, she was 8 years old, but she was smart. She was a smart girl. she was maybe a little more mature than regular 8-year-old girl. She was, she was smart, she had a courage, and she was thinking. And she heard that the parents were saying that they needed a miracle. And so she went to her room and she went to her closet, Closet is where you put your clothes inside, or you store your thing in the little space, which is called a closet, yeah? And so she went to the closet and she opened up her closet and she took out a glass jar. This is a glass jar, and this is a cap, yeah? So in the glass jar, she had some money. She had some coins. She had some change. And so she took out the money and she counted them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She counted them. She counted the coins 3 times. She wanted to make sure what she is counting is correct. And so she counted 3 times. And then she quietly sneaked out of the house. She quietly left the house and went to a drugstore. You know, a drugstore? Drugstore is a place where you go buy medicine, drugs, yeah? You know that, don't you? Yes, of course you do. Okay, so she went to a drugstore. She walked for a while. She walked like 6 blocks, six blocks. And she went to a drugstore. Now, this is a drugstore, okay? She went into a drugstore. She had a glass jar with money. And then there was a table. And the pharmacist, a man who sells medicine, pharmacist is a person who is certified or qualified to prepare and sell medicine, okay? Drugs, medicine. And so the pharmacist was standing there, and there was this very, very tall man, and he was talking to this tall man. Well, Tess came in here, and she waited until she thought maybe he would turn around and pay attention to her, so she was waiting for him to turn around. But the man kept talking to this man, and he never paid attention to her. Well, Tess was very patient. She didn't sit there. She stood there, and she waited and waited. But the man never turned around and paid attention. So she became a little bit impatient. She wanted him to turn around. And so she went, she said, she cleared her throat. She cleared her throat. But the man didn't pay attention. This man kept talking to this tall man. And so this girl, Tess, went over to the table, and she took out 25 cents, a coin, a quarter. With the coin, oops, it's not a dollar, it's a cent, 25 cents. It's a quarter. She took out a coin and she banged it. Bang means made noise when she put the money on the table. Bang. She banged it. Banged. She banged it. Banged the coin onto the table. This caught his attention, so he turned around and he said, "Yes, what can I do for you?" Oh no, he didn't say that, sorry. He said, "I'm busy," he said. I'm talking to my brother from Chicago. he said, I have not seen him for many, many years. I have not seen him in ages. And so I'm talking to him and I, go home. He didn't say go home, but, I'm talking to my brother, he said. So the girl said, well, I came here to talk to you about my brother, she said. And she said, because he turned around, he said, because she said, I'm talking to you. I came here to talk to you about my brother. So he looked at her and she said, I want to buy a miracle, she said. I want to buy a miracle. And the man looked at her and said, the pharmacist looked at her and said, well, we don't sell miracles here. I'm sorry, he said. I can't help you. And then the girl said, but my brother is very, very sick. He needs help. We need a miracle. My father says we need a miracle to cure him. And he doesn't have money, so I can pay for it. I have the money. How much is a miracle? She said. Well, this man, tall man, this girl here, the tall man came over and he stooped down. Stoop down means bent forward, okay? Because he was a tall man and he wanted to talk to a girl who is short. And so he stooped down and he said, what is wrong with your brother? He said. And then the girl said, there is something bad growing in his brain or in his head, and he needs a surgery. But my father doesn't have money, so I can pay for it. How much is a miracle? My father says they need a miracle to help my brother. I want to buy a miracle. How much is it? So this man asked her, how much money do you have? And the girl said quietly, it was very difficult to hear what she was saying because she put her head down and she said, I have $1.11. The tall man listened to it and then he said, what a coincidence, he said. A miracle costs just $1.11. And he said, give me the money. And so the man took the money from the girl with his left hand. And then he took her hand with his right hand. And he said, take me to your brother. Take me to your house. I want to meet your brother and your parents. So Tess took this tall man to her house. This tall man was a surgeon from Chicago. He was a famous doctor from Chicago. And he said he saw Andrew and he talked to the parents and he took Andrew to the hospital and he operated on him. He was a surgeon. The surgeon is a person who operates. So he was a surgeon and he operated on him. It did not cost any money. The mother and father didn't have to pay money for the surgery. Andrew stayed in the hospital for a while, but came home after a while and he became well. He recovered. He didn't die. And so the mother and father later said, wow, they said, how much, I wonder how much it would have cost if we had to pay for it. That was really a miracle, they said. And then when Tess heard this, she smiled and she said to herself, I know how much a miracle costs. It's $1.11. The end.